Good morning, Windmill. I'm out and about, and instead of putting this in detail in the newsletter, I'm going to speak to you today. The reading for today is about how to deal with things that have happened to you. It's sort of an uncomfortable and difficult reading about going to see a person about what they've done to you, and if they don't, then you take some witnesses, and if that doesn't work, you go to the church, and then you just you ignore them and treat them like heathen if they don't come around. I kind of think that is about serious sins like adultery and theft and murder and that sort of violence and things like that. But I want to talk a little bit about the conflicts that we do have with each other, and really share with you how I deal with them. I think that sometimes a friendship develops after a conflict within a friendship. Now, if somebody gossips about you or says something that upsets you or does something that isn't kind or pleasant, and you feel a sense of offence that somebody has caused you or somebody that you love, actually, you then have three choices, but one of them isn't really a choice, actually. It's the one that most of us do. In fact, what we do is we sort of pretend it doesn't happen. We show our offence by ignoring, but we don't actually say what's wrong, and over a period of time the bitterness between people becomes so strong that there isn't really a relationship there, and in fact there's a hatefulness there that is breaking down both people, and that's not okay. That's not what we're going to do. But we do have two useful and sensible choices, and one of them is if we can walk away from that situation and person. That's not the same as ignoring it, but we decide, no, this person is not in my friendship circle anymore. This person isn't somebody I'm going to have anything to do with. I'm going to walk away from them. And that is absolutely perfectly fine, actually. But sometimes we can't walk away from somebody because we're working with them or for them, or they go to the same church as us, and avoiding them is starting to feel rude and uncomfortable. Maybe we have to do the third choice. And the third choice is you're just going to cringe. And actually, I cringe too. And you're going to go and talk to the person and say, you know, you've really upset me. And that is so not English. It's not even Glenda. I struggle to do that. But let me tell you that when I have done that, the relationship has grown. There's been a couple of occasions when the relationship has completely fallen apart, and I've had to take choice one and move away from the whole situation, which included leaving a job that I was bullied out of. But mostly, when you go to the person with your concern and talk to them, you realise that there was a misunderstanding, or that one of the people has some growing to do, or there is a way of moving forward with a compromise, and the relationship can grow. And I'll tell you quite frankly that Laura and I have had to do that several times in our relationship over the years, where we've felt offence or hurt, and we've talked to each other and realised that we weren't looking at it the way that it really was. There was information that we didn't know. There was things that were said that we didn't really understand from the other person's point of view. But talking about it, what's wonderful is that Laura and I end up realising that we are on the same page and we're moving in the same direction, even though at times it doesn't always feel like that. But our relationship has strengthened because we've had the courage and determination to speak to each other about what the issues were. I mean, this happens in a marriage. You can't keep going in a marriage and pretending things aren't upsetting you. but it will grow if you approach people. And Jesus is saying quite clearly, if you have an issue, go and talk about it. And if it can't be sorted out with just you, then maybe take some other people along. The issue may not be sorted out immediately or straight away, but usually they are. Usually there's some complete misunderstanding. I was offended by a friend who seemed to be looking down on the clothes that I put on my children, because I tended to buy second-hand clothes for them to play in. And she was a dressmaker. She made beautiful, she had all girls. She had beautiful little dresses for her girls with smocking and lovely things. And I actually said to her that I was upset that she seemed to be saying my children weren't dressed as well as hers, and that she was looking down on me. And she actually said that she was envious of me because I dressed my children in clothes that they could play in, and she was worried always about the girls ruining their pretty dresses, and she had to be a bit bossy with them, and they weren't able to play as freely as my children. So actually we were both feeling a difference between us in a negative way. And when we talked about it and realised what was going on, we could be at peace with each other, and our friendship grew. And time again, this is what's happened with me when I've approached something with somebody. My friendship has grown. Right, I feel like I'm going on and on and on. I'm going to put some prayers in the newsletter. I don't think it's right because this is going to go through YouTube, to pray publicly for people. But in the reading today, it talks about where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst, and I will hear them and I will answer them. So as you read the newsletter, realise that many people are reading the newsletter, and we are agreeing in Jesus' name those prayers. So hopefully I'll be able to attach this to the newsletter, and you can hear my great ramble about getting on with each other, which isn't easy. And I pray long and hard before I go and speak to somebody. I don't rush out the door with my offence. I talk to God, because sometimes the problem is me and my attitude. When I've double checked that it's not me and my attitude before God, confessed any sin that I may have done, tried to see if I've caused the problem. After I've done all of that, then I go and approach the other person. So God bless, and here we go, building friendships.